Good evening, nerds. It's Fenna. It's time to continue on the Overwatch hype train. If you don't know what Overwatch is yet, it's a team-based first-person shooter based around objectives, most commonly compared to Team Fortress 2. You'll be using unique heroes to battle in 6 vs 6 combat. Anyway, I've been doing a series to take a look at all of the heroes currently announced, taking a peek into their abilities and gameplay to get myself and you guys ready for when it goes live. The last episode was about Winston, but next up, we'll be taking a look at a hero that I find adorable. Bastion, SST Laboratories Siege Automaton E54, or Bastion, is a 30-year-old defense robot from Unknown. There were originally many Bastion units that were created for keeping peace. However, during the Omnic crisis, they turned against their human makers, forming the bulk of the Omnic's rebel army. After the crisis, nearly all were destroyed or disassembled. This unique Bastion unit was dormant for over a decade when unexpectedly reactivated. His combat programming was messed up and instead showed curiosity for nature. However, even though its programming is a bit dodgy, it still kicks into combat mode when it senses danger. Anyway, let's have a peek at the robot's skills. Configuration Recon. Bastion's basic attack is a simple submachine gun that carries 20 rounds per clip and does medium damage over a medium range. This weapon is very simple and there honestly isn't too much to say about it. It will be used whenever Bastion needs mobility and isn't in his other configuration mode. Let's explain that so it makes a bit more sense. Reconfigure. Reconfigure is Bastion's shift ability that allows him to shift between two different configurations that have different strengths and weaknesses. We just look at his recon mode, but let's have a look at his other mode. Sentry. His second mode is Configuration Sentry. Bastion transforms into a stationary Gatling gun with the 1000 hit point shield equipped to the front. The Gatling gun fires at an insanely high rate and holds 200 bullets. Bastion does incredible damage in this mode and is also safe from frontal attacks, but cannot move while in the mode. It's powerful at short to mid range. Sentry is what makes Bastion so powerful. When in Sentry mode, he has some of the highest damage output of a non-ultimate ability in the game. Bastion players will have to be very careful when choosing when to use this mode though, as not being able to move puts the unit in a vulnerable position as he can't move. Yes, he does have a shield, but it's only on the front, so you either need to protect your ass or back it up against a wall. Or just know that no one is going to be behind you. Choosing the right mode for the right situation will be key to playing a good Bastion. I feel like this will make Bastion somewhat map specific too. He will need a good area where he can set up and still have vision of the objective so he can rain down fire without being too vulnerable. Ideal scenario is backed up against a wall with full vision of the contested objective. Self-repair. Bastion's E ability is self-repair. Overwatch makes the ability names very simple and once again it does exactly what it says. When used, it will heal himself. Once again, this is an ability that will stop Bastion from being able to move, so getting out of danger before using it will be vital. It also throws up a big yellow ring around itself, so it'll be even more visible to enemies while repairing. Bastion's ultimate ability. Configuration Tank. You thought Bastion's Gatling gun was a lot of firepower? Well, think again, my nerd. When Q is pressed, Bastion transforms into a tank, gaining hit points, and left click becomes a turret. When fired, a shell is launched which deals devastating AoE damage. He can still move in this configuration, so he doesn't lose the mobility like Sentry mode. This mode does insane damage in an area, making Bastion even better at holding or even taking objectives where players group up to do so. So what's it like to play Bastion in an average game? Bastion's playstyle is going to be a heavy positional based game. Generally, Bastion is going to be the highest damage dealer on the team, but he needs either someone to watch his ass or the correct positions and the right times to sentry up. Locking down objectives or key positions will be the way to go. Going sentry mode in the wrong place will cost a lot of time or be the death of Bastion. What I mean by time is, if you sentry up thinking enemies are going to come around the corner, but then they never do, then it was a bad sentry and lots of wasted time that could have been better spent moving forward in recon mode to find a better spot. I can see a lot of Bastion players being too careful and not dishing out much damage over the entire course of a game for this reason. So a perfect balance between not going too deep and not too shallow will be necessary to good sentries and high level Bastion play. It will require a lot of map knowledge, game knowledge, and hero composition knowledge. His ultimate will give a nice little break to the more sedentary style, allowing Bastion to run in on objectives or heroes dealing a lot of damage without being static. Due to Bastion's high damage output putting him in a state of nobility, some heroes will be very strong against him. Junkrat is the first that comes to mind, being able to bounce grenades off walls, get grenades behind the frontal shield, or even use his ultimate from outside of vision so he doesn't have to take sentry fire. Reaper comes to mind next, using Wraith and Shadow Step to get close or behind Bastion without taking much damage, then blasting him in the back. Then possibly Reinhardt, using the charge to get close and then smacking him down with a hammer sounds like a great way to deal with an immobile Bastion. That does it for this brief look at Bastion. I think Bastion has the ability to seem incredibly overpowered against the right composition, since his damage is ridiculous in sentry form. He might be one of those heroes that you see on the opposing team and you just have to instantly counterpick to take him down. Definitely a hero I'll be keeping an eye on once the game goes live. Also, he's incredibly cute. Even though he doesn't look like Wally, he reminds me of him, and I love Wally. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace, guys.